Welcome to the Athletic FC podcast with me, Akinwolere. Premier League clubs went big this summer on strikers, but how difficult is it to adapt to the English top flight? Well, we've got Louis Saha. Let's ask him. Joining us now, we have the Athletic's Anka. We've also got a very special guest, former Manchester United, Everton, and also Fulham striker, Louis Saha as well. Louis, so good to have you on the Athletic FC podcast. Firstly, where in the world do we have you? Because I know you formed a company called Axis since you've retired. And also, how is life after retirement?
It is good. I am based in south of France, in Cannes. So after a few years in England, so I needed the sun. So I can say that I can enjoy. So yes, I'm a privileged guy.
Living life well. Well, Louis, given how many top strikers from around Europe we've seen come to the Premier League this summer, think about Sesko, think about Gyökeres, for instance. We'd love to learn about how difficult it is for players to make that transition. But let's start earlier on in your career. I know you started at Metz and then you're on loan to Newcastle in 1999. And I sort of looked at the dressing room back then. Duncan Ferguson, Alan Shearer, Stuart Pearce, and also manager Ruud Gullit. How did you find that transition?
To be totally honest, I was like very innocent. So it does help because you don't ask 1,000 questions. You don't try to answer all of that comes in your minds. And I just wanted to play. I just wanted to actually put in place what I thought that was my talent, and it became natural because the style of the training, the games, the Premier League, the Geordies make it very easy in so many ways. Because yes, sometimes I couldn't understand the English. It was good. Sometimes it was just about the football, and I could see that it was all about commitment, aggressivity, and desire to please the fans, and it makes sense to me. So I can say that I adapt pretty well, and I really loved the kind of family aspect that I didn't see in League One. So I really enjoyed straight away, and that's why when you speak of those big names, they really helped me a lot. So Alan Shearer, for example, was the one that making jokes in the dressing room. Right, was really relaxed. Same times like giving me advice and really take on what I could bring to the team. So I was really amazed because that was not the case where I was before. So I can say that. Everything was perfect for make me introduce myself as a French boy into this English culture.
And the Premier League in 1999, how is that English culture to you on the field? How was the adjustment? Was it quick? Was it more physical? How did it change for you?
Yes, I had a welcome package straight away. I had a few games where I understood that I had to be more aggressive, more physical. I had to be aware of the desire to the defenders to really impress you. So I remember one game where I had Gary Speed and Dietmar Hamann just like bombard forward because they saw the aggression of the defenders, and I needed to understand that those guys were here for me, and do a bit more for them. So what's the kind of understanding? So the Premier League, yes, is definitely way more intense, and especially in '99, you had less protection from the referees. So it was like full on, and I really embraced that. I felt like it was the football I wanted to play. So that's why everything you could see on the training, you see on the field. It's as I said, it's aggression. On the same times, there is an expression where you could see that the people were really in love with their job, really in love with the football, the passion, and all that was expressed during the full week. So I was really in love with all of that, and I think Alan Shearer represented that. He was a legend for the club, even if it was managed by another legend like Ruud Gullit. You could see there is like enormous amount of charisma. You have to really take on what the fans are looking for. I was like really impressed with this kind of connections that you could see straight away when you enter the field. So I was in love with that. And culture-wise, it's totally different. You could see the respect, you could see the protection that we have as football players. So yeah, it's enormous. But yes, I had to adapt. Don't get me wrong. because the language barrier was big. Was massive, not because of French and English, but French and Geordie. It's way difficult. So it was tough, but food-wise, it was tough as well.
Food.
That's the one I was
the
going
food.
to ask. You got haute cuisine in France, and you're coming to the northeast, the place of the deep fried pizza, the place of the deep fried Mars bar. How are you feeling about that?
Oh yeah, 99. I'm telling you, there were no salt on anything in the kitchen, so I couldn't understand. So I really struggled a little bit, but I was here for my football. So my family, I had a chance to come with friends, and they really helped me on that. But I was not focused on that. It was just details. So obviously, sometimes it could be very important if you come with your family. But I was with friends, so we go to restaurant. We had the chance to just like go straight into the culture. So it was good.
Louis, can I ask you? So you've played in Newcastle. You've played for Fulham in London. You've also played for Manchester United. You've been to Spurs. You've been to Everton. How does playing in the North compare to playing in the capital city?
Yeah, it's a bit different, to be honest. The North back then was like more the North, I could say. So it has become, I would say, more cosmopolitan. It has become like a lot of restaurants. It was like not this way back then. So you have to adapt, and yes, it was different. Definitely, I felt the weather in the north, especially in Sunderland. Yes, it's different, but as I said, it's part of the country, and I really like those elements. It's like France. You have south of France. It's very sunny, and obviously when you go to Paris, you have like more into the culture. You see more monuments and all that. But I'm telling you. You can find your way. I'm here to learn. I wanted to grow. I pick up straight away my English. My English was really bad, and I enjoy it. Even if I was making mistakes, I just felt like it was part of my process. So I just loved it. Yeah, to be honest, the English culture, it's way more how I feel in terms of behavior, social aspect of the way they treat people with success is way different than what you could find in France. Not saying that I'm not jealous in England, but they were like.
Do you think football players, when they're looking to come to England, do you think they try and go to the London clubs first, or is it just get to the Premier League and then we'll figure out the rest from there?
No. You have an enormous attraction by the Premier League.
Uh-huh.
Wherever you go, it could be even Championship. You know that it's a different intensity. It's a different football game.
Mm-hmm.
The interaction that you have with the fans is totally different than anywhere in the world. You have that bit of respect, but at the same time, there is very demanding fans. So it's way better. So I think that in my case, I was already in love. I was watching Dwight York and Andy Cole back then. Man United, it was the pinnacle, and this was that's my target. But I was just like looking at how I can challenge against those guys, and any club in England can do that with the FA Cup, and I was like really looking at those enormous events. The FA Cup final that I watch. I was on the bench with Newcastle, and I see Wembley, and I say, "Hang on, mate, what is that?" So you can imagine the difference. You can imagine, back on the TV, but when you lived it, it's way different. You see it. You see, kids is like he could be 6 or 7, and he's going into his stadium with his grandma, and I'm saying, "Whoa." This is like culture. This is proper football culture, and yeah, it's where it's safer than what you will find. So I do really think that it's way more authentic.
Okay, let's talk about your time at Fulham, because they bought you for £2.1 million, and it was when they were still in the first division. That's a big investment for a club at that time on you, this young man. Did you feel the pressure of the transfer fee?
Not at all. I think back then as I said, had this innocence, sorry, and I was not playing for money or was not aware of all those things. I say, okay, I'm gonna get a better salary, that's for sure. But I was here to play. I was here to compete. I was here to actually, yes, enjoy myself and making sure that I can represent the family name the best way possible. And to be honest, those things were authentic. Now I can understand that you can't see that as much. You can see that the agents have like so much more power. But back then, I'm telling you, I was really pleased to join the Premier League and in England, and I wasn't aware of like price tag and what to really represent to 5 or I I didn't care. I didn't compare myself to anybody. I just wanted to play. So as I said, I was very innocent, and I can remember myself going to Clairefontaine, but it was the same. I just wanted to compete with Thierry Henry, with Nicolas Nelka, and be there and then say, okay, I'm gonna be a better player around those guys. That's it. I am very simple thinking. I want things and I do everything for that. Whatever is comes around, that is not my problem.
What about your first season at Fulham? I think it was 32 goals in 48 games, and then you finally end up in the Premier League. How good a training ground is the Championship, or back then it was called the First Division? How good a training ground is it for the next level in which you're going to get to when you do get to the Premier League?
I think yes, it was the best foundation. But the foundation was more Jean Tigana, to
Uh-huh.
give him the respect that he deserves. Because yes, he comes with his philosophy and he wanted us to play a certain way. And it just like destroyed the championship by that, just like by playing with this principle. So then when you go to the Premier League with that style, we were not like just like a small fish, in some way we know that how to play football, we know how to keep the ball. So we managed to do something quite uh, yeah, significant to stay there and build the club that it is now, because now it's been a few years now where Fulham is in a Premier League, and it was for me really important because yes, I changed my position from winger to striker at that moment. So basically, scoring all those goals during that championship was a really big foundation. But it was Jean Tigana who's done that. He just told me, "Okay, I trust you. I think you have the ability to do that." And I really enjoyed everything what he plays for me. So I was like physically really fit and felt like I was yeah. When you have this you know almost like you feel untouchable. Yeah, he's in a foundation, so you could be in many clubs and you will have that, but it was even better because you are in the capital of London, of England. Sorry, you are with French people around you, so that's so hard. You starting to put some food who look like French.
You've mentioned food a couple of times now. I see you,
Yeah,
bro. I see you.
because in a way that you're almost one side of the game is your diet and how you do it outside your field, how you recover, and if you bring those kind of habits from Jean Tigana, it was huge. It was huge. So it was so important for me to understand my job and the principle that I need to bring. So yes, the English culture back then in 99 or 2001 when I joined Fulham was still going into pubs after games or whatever, and alcohol was a big part of it. And I don't think that you can play that much with that now, unless you want a very short career.
All right, Louis, would love to get your take on some of the big money strikers that have come to the Premier League this summer. Premier League clubs spent around £3 billion this summer. A huge chunk of that actually went to strikers. So let's start with your former team, Benjamin Sesko at Manchester United, 22 years old, £73.6 million move from RB Leipzig. How difficult is a challenge facing this young man being the star striker at Manchester United?
No, that's going to be tough. That's a challenge, that's for sure. I think he's prepared that. Um, yes, he's ready to join. I think physically he's not going to have like a huge amount of things to do. Tactically, I think it's going to be the challenge because the team as well is in transition. The manager has to figure out how to play. We had, I think, Oljong with a similar style in some way. I'm saying similar, but I think with different maybe attributes or this is. What we know is the problems identified the last 3 or 4 years is having the responsibility as a number 9 or as a forward when you're young. When you're young, you're still learning, so you're making mistakes. You don't know how to connect with the players as much as maybe Bruno Fernandes, as much as you had like Ibrahimovic before, or players like Andy Cole and so on. So there is like always had a combination to a club where with Man United especially, to have like young player with a lot of talents who's gonna disrupt, who's gonna actually bring unpredictability, but at the same time you have experience where it's very reliable and gonna actually pass on the information. This is not the case in the last 3 or 4 years, so it's been really big mistakes, and I think they've done it again, in my opinion. So there's gonna be a tough challenge, but I think he's capable if obviously the manager managed to get that link between midfield and striker. Unfortunately, we didn't get the midfielder we wanted, so we're still very weak in that department, and this is why I think Sesko will struggle maybe a little bit until we get that sorted. So I think he's got the quality because he's tall. I think he's gonna score goals up in the air. Technically, very high, and he's very technical as well. I've seen his eye for the goal. All his movement is right up there. So very confident he's gonna get chances and he's gonna score. But get us where we want, I don't think that's gonna be only him. We need to be spot on. So I do think that those two playmakers, Cunha and Mbeumo, will have to click on very soon, unless you will see Sesko struggling as well.
Louis, you're still saying us. You're not a
Yeah,
Manchester
you said
United anymore.
us. You
What's
said
going
we.
on?
That's
I'm not messing around here. I'm not messing around. I'm a big fan. And then I do think that especially when you have such a big connections with the fans and how much they supported me, I just can't say them. It's just it won't work. And I'm not an hypocrite. I love this team as much as I can be a good supporter. Sometimes I'm a really bad one.
okay. Can I go back to what you said about how United, it's about having you can have a young disruptor talent and a more mature player. Now when you joined United, the striker, the number 9 was Ruud van Nistelrooy. And by the time you were leaving Man United, the striker number 9 was Wayne Rooney, and Cristiano Ronaldo was also there. So is that your experience, that you joined United as the young disruptor and then you left it as the experienced player for the other two?
I would say that I was probably a link between youth and experience like Ruud. I was born in the middle. I was 26 or 27 when I arrived, something like this. And to be honest, I've seen myself having like a different kind of quality than Ruud, and maybe from like the youngsters. So I joined. It was not only Ruud; it was Solskjaer. And then after arrived, Tevez, and soon Rooney arrived. Alan Smith arrived as well. So we had a lot of strikers, and I would say we could be forwards, but I was maybe the man number 9. I would say, in the physical way, and yes, as a target man. What Ruud was not totally a target man, but he was a goal scorer. He was a machine, and that's why we could really adapt. And sometimes we need to be a bit more physical. I will play up to with Ruud, and sometimes so we had combination. And when he was a bit more link and play, maybe Tevez was more the guys who was able to really link the forward lane. So I felt that I was not the youngsters, but in my mind, I was just as unpredictable than a youngster. This is how I see it.
Yeah. What is it like making that step up to Manchester United? People talk about the shirt being heavy for certain players, and we've seen a lot of players not succeed at Manchester United when the spotlight is on them. How do you deal with that pressure? And also, Sir Alex Ferguson, that's not easy either.
No, that's not. But to be honest, it's depending how the manager in itself is capable of like making you feel very special. And where you have a play and had so many great players around me, and I say, okay, I'm supported to be the best at what I can do, not like trying to invent me. Like some people will ask me, oh yes, Louis, you need to be a leader, you need to speak on the field and all that, and prepare the games like Gary Neville or Roy Keane. I won't be able to do it because those guys were there and they were good at it. And this is the problem of United now, and this is why this is a big step, and the shot is way, way heavier than it was for me, because those guys are asked way much more to wear way much more hats. It's like Bruno Fernandes is a leader. He has to score, he has to assist, and he has to defend. And so, hang on a minute. And it's the same for Rashford. Rashford is maybe asked to be a leader, whatever, where this guy, he was still young and he was maybe not supported as much, or let's say your role is to just disrupt.
So you think they've been given too much responsibility in various aspects of the game instead of just focusing on what they're good at?
Definitely.
Mhm.
So basically, at some point, so the manager will say, oh, yes, you have to do that, you have to do this. And he doesn't even realize it, that this guy is trying to force his game. And that's not good. Where Sir Alex Ferguson, smart enough, and maybe on the club aspect, where the team building is very important. So then when you manage the people, it's then easy because I know what you're good at, and I'm not going to ask you to be more defensive or to be more whatever. Wayne Rooney, you can ask him everything, that's fine. But you don't have 10 Wayne Rooney in your team. And if tomorrow you ask Gary Neville to be, I don't know, like Cafu or whatever, he may be struggling as well. So this is a problem that we have. So I've seen like maybe when I've seen maybe Anthony coming and we say, oh, maybe he couldn't play as good and all that, I'm sure that he's asked to be Anthony in Betis. That's why he's done really well. But when he was there, he couldn't go to the right and do a cross with his right foot. And everybody can see his weakness. That was the. So I could be here and go into the United side now, and everybody will see, oh, Louis doesn't press as much because now we've been asked to press. And where Alex Ferguson was saying, listen, Louis, I trust you to be a pen for the defenders. You're going to go behind the defenders. You're going to actually go and maybe strike the ball from outside the field when everyone is expecting you to be in that box, whatever it is, my quality was like really put forward. My weaknesses couldn't see it because I play with Rooney, I play with Giggsy, I play with Scholes. So this is where he highlights so much weakness.
I would like to ask, knowing what you're good at, what Premier League club would be the best place for 26-year-old Louis Saha right now?
Whoa, that's a tricky question. Yeah. To be honest, I don't see myself play yes, anywhere else than Man United, because if you have that fire to play for a club, and this is the thing that is missing, it's not about quality. Sometimes the players are asking, oh yes, I want to play left or to play right. When you have the fire to play, I heard, for example, Amad Diallo speak. He say, I play everywhere you want, because he has this fire. He wants to play, he wants to perform, whatever the position. And this is where it's very important. My desire to play for Sir Alex Ferguson was immense. So I will try my best, and if I'm not good, I will say to him, I am not good and I don't want to play there because it doesn't work for me and doesn't work for the team. So I will say that I would love players to have passion for the club they play for. And this is where I think a 26-year-old will say, oh, I would love to help the Man United side at this moment in time, yeah.
Answered like a politician.
A very good answer, actually. Very quickly, let's talk about Arsenal's big man, Viktor Gyokeres. Obviously, did a lot of good stuff in Portugal. Now, the step up from Portugal to the Premier League, some might say, is a big step. How do you think he's going to succeed in the Premier League? 27 years old, he probably knows his game more than Sesko. Does he have those attributes that you've seen so far that perhaps he can maybe replicate some of what we've seen in the Portuguese league?
I hope so for Mikel. I think
like a true politician. Very good.
No, I hope so. But to be honest, I can see where a player like Olivier Giroud had a lot of trouble convincing a lot of fans because he was going after Thierry Henry. So now, like settling for a player that is really done really well in the Portuguese league, but don't have those kind of attributes that the Arsenal fan are used to or would like to. It's gonna be a big pressure for him. They will expect always more. Yes, goal is good, but sometimes it's about like take on the style of Arsenal and the way they play or they used to play way higher, because there is games in the Champions League, there is games that you need to actually win against the derby, and there is like elements where the confidence that you brings are maybe a bit more. So I think he's a top player, but he's not the kind of like skills that you expect from Arsenal strikers. This is my opinion. I may be wrong, but yes, I understand that there is a need of balance, and this is why I think Arsenal is playing a bit more rougher than what they used to be back in the days, for sure. So yes, it's a bit more clinical football than what we've seen over the years for Arsenal. So Gyökeres represent that a little bit. This physical aspect, he can run behind and has like this, high for the goal. He's really a striker. I was forward, for example, because I love to play a bit on the side. He wants to score, and that's great ability for Arsenal, but they're still lacking creation, and I don't think he's going to bring many goals by himself. It will need his partner to assist him a lot.
So for a player like that, is it more that the team adapts to him or that he adapts to the team? Because I think that's possibly what the issue might be at Arsenal, is that they have a style of play, but if you're going to buy someone who you want to solve your striking problems that plays different to the team, does Mikel Arteta then have to maybe modify the way he plays so to get the best out of Gyökeres?
I don't think that Mikel need to adapt as much as we think. The manager has his plan, and definitely Gyökeres is part of his plan. So the player, have to adapt and understand. Okay, those players are maybe different than my Portuguese compatriots, and so many ways. I will have to probably score those type of goals that I used to score, because this is why the manager has picked me. I've got those kind of attributes. I have to play full on those. But yes, the Premier League is not the same as the Portuguese league. The actual style of those players in midfield or whatever are maybe not the same. So he will have to adapt. This is him to find. This is why he's a big player, and there is big fees has been invested in him. I do think that this is the type of quality sometimes I would say that could maybe be a struggle, because you don't have it naturally to adapt, because technically maybe Arsenal will need someone like a bit more capable of like doing his own things on a small space. I think he's done one goal where he just come inside and have like a few touches, but I do think that the English defenders, the Premier League defenders, adapt very quickly to you. And this is the problem.
Can you explain that a little bit more? Because I once talked to Yaya Toure, and he said when you're in England, you have a very, very short amount of time to control the ball compared to when you're in Spain or compared to when you're in Greece. What is that difference when you're a striker, particularly when you're up against those defenders in the Premier League?
Yeah, it depends of your team style. So basically, you could have like Arsenal side or Man City side who are able to really control very high up on the field, and who have like much more control and much more time to actually get your good runs, but you don't have many runs now to actually be on position. So it depends. So how you work as like Leicester back in the days, where they're doing you on counter attackers, all the times, and Vardy was really a clinical finisher and score many goals. Where when you have like a tiki-taki style, so many situations has to be down the way the team is playing. The midfielders putting pressure and making sure the more and more the defenders at the opposition can make mistakes, and then you convert. So it depends how you could see the amount of touches you want to play. So it was a debate with Haaland, for example. So Haaland wasn't touching, wasn't involved, and people were questioning and say, "Oh yes, Haaland doesn't touch." Doesn't need. it's just like it's gonna convert the mistakes of the opposition, because the Man City style of play will put so much pressure, and at some point you made a mistakes and he will finish. He's bigger, he's quicker, and he's a clinical finisher. So this is depending on what you want as a result, and this is why Haaland is scoring that much goals, but it doesn't need to actually touch as much, maybe touches as Havertz or whoever.
Okay.
That's depending on what you want.
Okay. We have to sort of talk about the big one, Alexander Isak. Liverpool broke the transfer record to sign him from Newcastle, £125 million. From a striking perspective, can you just break down what makes him so special, but also a player, I guess, that took a little bit of time to find his rhythm in the Premier League as well?
I think that's the type of player like look like. I think this comparison has been done before. Thierry Henry, who is capable to scoring his own goals.
Wow. Okay.
He's fast.
Liverpool fans will love that.
Definitely have the kind of like really big eyes for goals. Is probably better in the air than Thierry. But those comparisons stop there, and in so many ways that the boys has to do a lot of things to be up there. But yes, in terms of attributes, yes, Alive is skillful. In link up play is really good. He know how to actually spin off and sometimes like really be the ones who is a target and can keep the ball and suck the opposition sometimes and deliver the ball to the right midfielder. And the pressing side of it is really strong as well. So he's a complete player. So it's not a profile that you could see often in Europe today. It's rare. You could play away from home with him and be a force. You could play definitely really good football at home. So he tick a lot of boxes. This is why I think he's been chased by the champions, and I think that yeah, it's a very exciting player. I really love his his eye for goals is very impressive. Even with the skills that he's got, where he could be an entertainer, he's already a bit of machine like Cristiano Ronaldo wanted to be when he arrived to Real Madrid. So it's very impressive.
How do you think Isak will play with Ekitike at Liverpool?
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see. They could play two up because they have a bit of a different style, where someone is a bit more direct, I would say, on Isak, and the Ekitike is a bit more the guy who can really link up. He loves to be involved, and in so many ways he find his way into that box. So he scored many goals with Eintracht and done really well. And in Paris Saint-Germain, I think he struggled because we had too many star players. I would say that he went after. It was Messi, if I'm not wrong, Neymar and Mbappe.
It's hard for anybody to get in that team.
That's going to be tough for you. So I think he struggled mentally to be asked to be the guy who will be the super sub. It was tough, but yeah, he found his confidence in Deutschland, and it's done really well. And I think that's what we have seen from him now. I love to see the link-up play because he's always smiling and he's got this him that it's gonna be very interesting to see those guys evolved, because yes, it's just the start. So imagine in 6 months, wow.
Well, let's end the show with a bit of fun, Louis. We're going to get you to rank a selection of Premier League strikers. Your job is to basically pick who comes out on top, and we'll go round by round. Okay, let's start with this. Isak versus Voltemade.
Isak, yeah.
Visa versus Kolomwani. Come on. Kolom, okay. Next, Sesko versus Gyökeres.
Wow. You catch me, yeah.
Are you going to go for Man United?
Yeah, I think I'm going to go Sesko. I like his style, and I think he exact me the way he played, and he's not supported yet. So individually, I think yes, Sesko is a better player.
Okay. Ekitike versus Joao Pedro.
I will go for Pedro.
Okay, let's move on. Isak versus Kolomwani.
Isak.
Sesko versus Joao Pedro.
Pedro.
Oh, so that leaves us with Isak versus Pedro.
You got it, Isak.
Hey.
Isak win every round.
Oh, Isak wins everything. There we go.
Yeah.
Honestly, very quickly before you go, have you got any advice for any young players coming into the Premier League? You know, we've gone round the houses here, and you've really given us an insight for your journey. But you know, it's a big step up, and also the money's much bigger than when you started now.
Yeah, it is. So yeah, let's start with that, because it's all about like staying very authentic. You know, you are a player, so you have the privilege to play the games you started with your heart, and it was not about money. It was not about like fame and all that. So please, let us let us see that. You know, it's really important. Not playing for the fans or for the fame and all that. And I see too many players having that kind of like extra look or extra thought about what people's gonna think, how I'm gonna be representing a meme or stuff like this. And it's killing the football. Please be natural, be yourself, allow yourself to make mistakes. It's all right. You are human beings, and just enjoy, because when you are smiling and enjoy, and I can see that for myself. I struggle to enjoy my game because I was very focused on improvement, which is good, but it has a downside, and I think it's the connection that you have with the fans, with the players, the teammates, and all that is getting very selfish at the moment. And if like strikers, they need to be selfish, but they do it more than normal, it's going to kill the game.
All right, gents, let's leave you there. Louis, Carl, thank you so much for your time. I love that. Such great insight into strikers. And also thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. And also don't forget to leave us a comment as well. We'll be back soon. For more from the Athletic FC podcast, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. We've got top journalists like David Ornstein, Matt Slater, Adam Crafton, Carl Anka, and plenty more through the entire season. Make sure you don't miss an episode of the Athletic FC. You can get it wherever you get your podcasts from.